Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Theater Professor vidcast. My name is Terry Dana Jakimiak II, and I'm the Theater Professor. So, you're looking at my screen right now, and you're seeing it is not an iPad screen. You can see this is filling the entire screen. This is actually my desktop. We are going to venture into the wide world of desktop art apps, along with our mobile art apps. I'll be doing my mobile art apps on Tuesdays, and then I'll be doing desktop art apps on Fridays. This is the first in the series for ArtRage for the desktop. If you haven't already, check out ArtRage for the iPad. I've done a series of 5 to 6 videos in regards to that, and this is the beginning of the desktop series, which there's a lot more, and therefore will be a lot more videos. Now understand that I'm still kind of new at this. I've only been working with this program now for a month and a half-ish, roughly. It is something that I just recently used. If you've read my blog post that talks about the Addams Family scene design, this is the program that I did all of the finished renderings in. So what you'll be seeing is a lot of what I've been learning over the past month-ish. So sit back and relax and enjoy this. Today we're just going to start to go over some of the interface that you see on the screen, all of the UI here, user interface, and we're going to start to learn where things are, because when it comes to these types of programs, it's good to understand where everything is so that your workflow can start to move a little quicker. Also, the great thing about this program is that it's not as expensive as some of the programs that are available that are digital painting programs. This program currently runs $50. You can go to www.artrage.com to purchase it. Understand, they're not paying me to say that, okay? This is not a paid advertisement. This is my personal experience with it, okay? It is a really interesting program that prior to probably a year ago I had never heard of. So let's go ahead and get started. You can look at the screen. It's a lovely screen. It's just beautiful. Let me reduce this. Okay. So I don't remember what is actually open when you first purchase the program, so you'll have to kind of bear with me here. Up top we have this menu bar, and it's just like any other menu bar. Oh, before I go any further, look at these double arrows here. This toggles the window full screen mode. So yours might start like this with you can see it's got a little border around it. I generally go into full screen mode if I can, because I like it. It makes it look a little cleaner. I don't have those other distractions, such as, well, this menu bar down at the bottom doesn't disappear, but I don't have any other distractions if I can help it. So let's go through this. If you click the far left, you can see here collapse panel. You can actually collapse that when it's not in use. File. This has all the things that you would see under File: New Painting, Open Painting, Recent Files. You can save your paintings. Export image file. The import image file and an import image file to layer will become very important later on. Install package files. One of the cool things that you can do with this program is if you develop a brush or a sticker setting, you can actually save that setting and give it out to people for downloads. One of the things I'm going to be doing here on the website on www.thetheaterprofessor.com is, as I develop my own personal brushes, I'm going to be starting to create packets so that you guys are able to download them. So that's kind of cool, right? There's the create package file. You can show the installed packages, and I have a lot. I'm not going to show them right now. You can record script, which essentially records you as you paint, and then you can play that script again. You can print painting, and of course, quit application. Up here, we have the edit tools, undo, redo, you know, and pretty unlimited in regards to undo, redo. I don't believe there is an actual limit. So that's really kind of nice. Like Photoshop and some of them, sometimes there's a limit. I know my drafting program, if I forget to set the limit, I only get 20 undos, which can be really unfortunate. Cut, copy, and paste. Resize painting, so the actual size of the painting. You can crop or expand the canvas. You can clear layers. You get to transform the layer contents, something similar to that in Photoshop. You can also select all the layers and transform them. Oh, there's the beep. I just got an email. You can select all. You can deselect all, invert the selection and select layer contents. You're able to blur the layer, adjust the layer colors, add noise. There are some filters. I don't have any filters apparently. And then your preferences and your keyboard shortcuts are down here. Moving up to tools, you have this, and a lot of these tools are down here and off to the right here, but you can also get to them up here. So your select tool is the same as this area down here. And same thing with all these others. Your color options are down right, color samples, layer options, and I'm not gonna go through all of these right now because we'll go through all of those as we go through each of the menus down at the bottom. Okay. There is the ability to paint symmetrical, meaning you can draw on one side and it mirrors. It actually, well, I don't want to get into it. See, and this is part of it. So as I'm going through this, I'm like, this is really cool. This is cool. But I want to kind of go through step by step. So if we don't go into in depth here, we will eventually go into it. And then user content. And then you've got your views. We will look through all of those later. You have your help button. Here is your zoom. You click on it, you can zoom it. These two arrows are your redo and undo. This is your canvas positioner. Grid settings. This reduces it. Again, this is our full screen, and then this is our quit application. So it's very much just like any other menu bar, for any type of application, whether it's, an digital art application or, your Microsoft Word. All right. The power starts to come in when you start to look at all these down here. And we're going to start with this one right here. If you have done my ArtRage for the iPad, then this will be familiar somewhat to you. It looks a little different in ArtRage. You can see here the tools that we have include the oil brush, the watercolor brush, the palette knife, the airbrush, the ink pen, pencil, paint roller, felt pen, gloop pen, which I love that name personally. The gloop pen, it's simply fabulous. Sticker spray, pastel, cloner, it's an interesting tool, you'll see. Eraser, our paint tube, our glitter tube, and then we have our selection, our transform, our color sampler, also known as eyedropper in many other programs, our paint fill, our text. This is how we adjust our tool size, and then again, this hides it. All right? So very quickly, let's just pick one. Let's start with the oil brush. And I'm going to show you a little bit. Now, right now, my microphone is actually on my drawing pad because I hadn't planned on doing too much drawing, but I did want to show you a little bit. Let me see if I can adjust this. Oh, I'm sorry if it goes a little wacky, wild, Kool-Aid style. You know what I'm saying? Wacky, wild, Kool-Aid style. Okay, so let me pick a prettier color than this. There we go. Okay, so you can see this is my paint. It's the setting that it's on. It does run out, right? So this is a little different than the iPad version because we're actually going to open up two toolboxes here, or two palettes here. We're going to open up the settings palette, and I'm going to move that up so it's not hiding down below. I'm going to open up the presets and put them right next to each other. Now, both of these things are on the iPad version, but in the desktop version, there is a lot more to them. There's a lot more adjustments you can make. Let's start to go through it. So let's start with a preset. Let's just start with a normal round. You can see a lot of these are, again, the same as when we were using them in the iPad version. You've got pressure, thinners. Now, if you're brand new to ArtRage, I suggest starting with the iPad version, even if you don't have an iPad, because now that I think of it, you know what? If you don't have an iPad and you're only doing desktop, ignore that thought. I'll go into this just as depth as I did with the iPad. How's that sound? Good. All right, so we have pressure, thinners, loading, and eventually when we go through all the tools, we'll see what each of those do. Aspect, rotation, stiffness, you got square head, auto clean. Interesting thing here, if you turn off auto clean here, you actually get down here a little cup of water. You hear that? So every time I need to clean my brush, I just click on it. So I'm going to go back to auto clean. Now, you notice we have presets. You can also, from the settings, get to your presets, but it's not quite as nice, right? You can see here I have several other categories. These are actually downloaded palettes or downloaded packages that I've downloaded, people's presets, and I'll talk about those later. You can see, you know, I've got several different presets there. Oil brush is what comes through it. Comes with it, okay? So when you are picking any of your tools, you may want to open these up as you work with it. Let me close those. So that's your presets and your settings and your tool palette here. You also have stencils. These are really quite nifty. So let's look at, those are my favorites, but let's pull button. Okay, I'm going to click this. When I click it, I get a big one right over here. Now, right now I'm using a mouse and keyboard. I mean, I have my drawing tablet here as well, but I'm showing you this with mouse and keyboard. So if you noticed, I'm able to move this wherever I want. The way I'm doing that, the shortcut to that is spacebar. You hold down spacebar and click on the red, well, pretty much anywhere, and it moves it. Don't click on the green. Notice how when I hover over the green, it turns into a different, turns into just a pointer arrow. You want to hover over it so it gets the so I can move it around, right? And then, let's see. I'm going to move it to the other side because that's where, there we go. And real quick, what I'm going to do, there are some shortcuts that you will learn later on in regards to resizing things. No, I don't. There we go. There we go. Let's just fill this in. I'm going to show you what it does. And then when I grab it and move it, look at that. So these stencils are really nifty. It gets even cooler because later on, I'm going to teach you how you can make your own stencil out of a drawing that you've created. Yeah, so you could do a drawing and suddenly you will have your own stencil in your box. It's cool. There's some fun ones in here, and you can kind of play around with the defaults. I love the Friscuits because it's got French curves, and I like using French curves. It also has, if you scroll down, it's got rulers, which are really nice. It does have some generic shapes, some textures. These are large blobs and bark. So let's, sorry, I like playing with these. I'm not going to lie. I pull it in. Let's paint in the bark here, and let's see what that comes out like. Oops, went outside my stencil. That's fine. I'm not really, you know. And then we'll move this around. Look at that. I got bark there. So those are the stencils. This is the stencil palette. I'm calling them palettes. Some people might call them toolbars, to each their own. To get rid of these, you just right click and remove this stencil and remove this stencil. All right. The next thing is stickers. If you open it up. Now stickers are not as important in this situation. The stickers are used if you open up your tool palette with the sticker spray. Okay, so that's what a lot of these are. A lot of these are used with the sticker spray. So what I would say is don't fret too much about what's in here right now. Okay, we will look at that much later. Moving to the right hand side, you can see this is the color tool, color picker. Okay, you can set this color picker up in a couple different ways. I really like how it is currently set up, so I'm not going to change it. But if you come up to the top and go to Tools, go to Color Options, you could switch it to HS/L. You can see how that changed. For those of you that don't know what those different terms are, let me open it up. If I were to guess, H is hue. See, I'm guessing here, so you'll have to forgive me. H is hue, and then L and S are probably, I don't know. Maybe light and dark, or I like this one too. This is actually one of my favorites. This is the tint shade. So you have your hues along the outside, and then moving around in the middle. So if I move this way, we go to shade. If I move this way, it's towards tint. And if I do it this way, I'm toning the color. And then straight up to the top is the color itself. So that's a nice setup as well. I've gotten used to the first setting because I never changed it. Also, the other thing that I do, and I'm going to go into this more in-depthly later, is I turn on real color blending. I'll explain later. Okay, give me time. Give me time. This is a huge program, very different than the iPad one. So this is our color picker. Here we have samples, and it comes with some. So for example, this is one of the ones that, let's see, just basic hue and saturation. This is one of the ones that comes with it. But there are several, again, that you can download and install via the package setting. So for example, if you look here, I'm going to replace the samples with, a lot of these are ones that so Winsor Newton Artist watercolor. So these are based off of the Winsor Newton Artist's watercolors. Okay. So that's your samples. Here you have your reference. Just like before, you can input a reference, a picture of some sort. I don't have any pictures particularly interesting to put on right now. But let me pick something so you can at least see what, come on, chameleon. Desktop, there you are. I like you driving in a car. We'll find my beautiful face, and here we have it. Look at that. Isn't he adorable? Oops, didn't mean to click that, sorry. I just said there. Ignore that So this is your references, and then you do have tracing as well. We'll pick the same picture, and it puts a layer underneath, just like the iPad version, which we'll be able to trace later. We will talk about that later. I'm going to undo that. I'm not going to undo that because I don't want to. Instead, what I'm going to do is just delete it. Deleted. Try now. Clear. There we go. And then finally, the last toolbox over here is the layers toolbox. You know, just like a Photoshop or any other type of art program, you can create multiple layers, put them in folders. There's some things I really like about this, and then there's some things that I'm not so happy about, but we'll go through that as we go through the program. So again, this is just your introduction to the program. If you're interested, there is a 30-day trial for ArtRage. It is currently ArtRage 4.5. You can get the trial, you can test it out, you can play with it, you can follow along at home and have some fun with it. You know, set up maybe your iPhone or iPad or Android pad. Is that what they're calling them? Android pads? Android pad here with my video, and then you can have your computer up and playing with it over here. But follow along as we go through this. It's going to be a much larger piece. I could probably easily fill up 30 short to medium vidcasts on this. So it's going to be there's going to be a lot of information. As we go through, if there are things that you want to know about, or if you have questions, feel free to email me. Leave me a message at www.thetheaterprofessor.com. You can leave a voicemail there too. Most people have microphones on their computers now. Just click the button on the right. It'll open up a voicemail. You can leave me a voicemail. Anything that you come across and you run into problems, let me know, because I want to be able to help you out. Also, like like always, stop by the website and sign up for the newsletter. It'll continue to keep you updated. Again, I'm going to be doing these on my desktop art apps every Friday. And then my mobile apps will happen on Tuesdays. Now, obviously, I'd like to do more, but because I also have to do a full-time paying gig, I don't quite have as much time as I'd like. If you'd like to see more of these, I am always looking for a little support via my Patreon account on my website, www.thetheaterprofessor.com. It's a way for you to show your appreciation. Having said that, these videos are free for anyone and everyone to learn, and I like that. All right, that's it for this week. My name is Terry Dana Jakimiak II, and I am the Theater Professor.